play well enough to play it that well.
Okay, well that's okay. If you want to just give us
But this tune, I honestly don't remember whether I thought of it after the accident or before, but I called it Brothers in honor of George and John, and recorded on a CD a while back, and used to play it in Florida a lot with this jazz group I play with. But the piano, out of the clear blue one day, I got a call from George's mom, and she was moving out of the family home in South Charlotte, and she told me, she says, I have George's Wurli piano, I have his Fender Rhodes, and I have his guitar amp. Do you want them? If you don't, I'm going to leave them with the movers and just put them out on the street. So this was a couple days before Thanksgiving. The weather was kind of like today, rainy and cold and nasty. Well, my younger daughter and I jumped in the car and we drove over to the house and put all the stuff in my station wagon. And she was moving down to live with her daughter, I guess down in Georgia or something.
Lawrence.
Yeah, Lauren. And so got it home and talked to Chris Gargis, who was running the studio, and I said, got George Shaw's Rhodes, and he said, hey man, I'm interested, you know, it's one thing led to another. So this is the Rhodes that George had for a long time. The Fender Rhodes piano, I ended up selling to somebody else, and I kept the guitar amp for a long time. I played enough guitar to where it was a memento for sure. Got it fixed up, spent some money, and just ended up selling it not too long ago to this guy up in Hickory, who's a great steel guitar player who could make better use of it than I could. But I must have kept it for 15 years or so, sitting in my studio. But yeah, I mean, this is a great George's little Wurli piano. Very cool.
And that was the composition that you wrote for them?
Yeah, that was what I was just playing a minute ago. If I was a better piano player, it'd sound better. It's a little pentatonic melody, and then it goes some other places. But when I was in Florida, I played in a group with a really great jazz player named Ira Sullivan. And the group we had was a string quartet, a rhythm section, and this guy Ira played saxophone and trumpet and flute and a bunch of instruments. And I wrote this arrangement wrote an arrangement on this tune. And so we recorded that with that group down there, and I recorded it up here with a group years ago at one of the studios in Charlotte. So I'll give you a copy of it if you like. But if we play it, we play it occasionally up here if I've got enough instruments. It's one of those tunes where it's nice to have a pianist when you can play. A lot of times I work with just a bass player and a drummer, and that really is a great way to play stuff because it gives you a lot of freedom. But some songs, it makes it harder to play because you got no chord instrument, and you kind of need that to fill out the edges of the song so it sounds good. So.
Can you also mention to Rick, say something along the lines of, and I understand this is also the keyboard they use to do the soundtracks.
Oh yeah. And I'm told that this is what this keyboard is what George worked on when he was composing the music for the movie that he did the music for. And this probably is the keyboard we was talking about when he said it's frustrating to work with guitar. It's easy to work with piano because you got the whole thing here. And it's not 88 keys, but it's enough, to do what you need to do. And plus, it's a cool sound. Nobody uses this sound anymore. But back when I was coming up, this is a lot of bands had these kind of pianos, and a lot of people play them. It's great.
It's great.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cut.